So when I started cycling, I went how to go fast. That's the first thing I put in Google.
Yeah.
And they gave me that HIIT
Uh,
is the way to increase your speed, right?
Correct.
Otherwise, you'll remain same.
Yeah.
So that is obviously with the intensity of intervals coming in. Now, if you want to see, this is not a structured training, but if I go on airport road, the intervals which are happening because of the flyovers, right? I'm doing that only. But it's happening by default without me actually putting it into a structure. I'm not a professional. This does not pay me, right? I have a bread and butter job, right? This I do for fun,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
And if somebody wants to race with me, they can come on a regular ride. But it's like this, saying that, Kavi, you drive fast. Why don't you join a Formula 3? There's no relation to me driving fast on a highway and me joining Formula 3. So I do this for fun. I do this for myself, and I enjoy it. The risk of a race to me is at my age is not worth it. This is one sport in India which, even if you are number one here on a world stage, you're not anywhere. I might get a good feeling, but actually I am nothing.
Correct.
In the bigger picture.
I am Vaiki Venki, and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guest, Kavi Mahajan, has started cycling 5 years ago at 98 kgs. After starting cycling, he has lost 20 kgs in the last 5 years and has become one of the strongest masters cyclists in the country. In this episode, we talk about his cycling journey and how it helped him in losing weight and becoming a healthier human being. We talk about his training routine and what helped him become stronger over the years. We also talk about why he doesn't take part in races but just enjoys riding really fast. It was a fun and inspiring chat with a lot of fun stories. Now, let us get into my conversation with Kavi. Welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast, Kavi.
Thank you for having me here.
Awesome. Kavi, let's start by talking about what is work for you right now.
Work for me right now is work from home.
Like all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. But seriously, the workload in fact has gone up, because of COVID. Earlier, clients would never call you. You had to have a physical meeting with a client. And therefore you would go to office, nobody will disturb you, you'll do your work, then go to the client, have his meeting and come back.
Right.
And you could only schedule 1 or 2 depending on the location because of the traffic. So max will have 1 meeting or 2 meetings in the day.
Right.
But with the lockdown coming in with COVID, everybody's online.
Yeah.
With Teams and Zoom.
Yeah.
Now the expectation, the call start at 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
Right? And they go up to right 7, 8. All reviews, everything is scheduled online because it's convenient for everybody to do it.
Yeah.
And therefore the working hours have gone up.
Right. So there is no hard stop right now.
Absolutely no hard stop, and the amount of calls that have come in is ridiculous, which never used to be there.
Correct.
You had your time with your team, that has all vanished. I spend less time with my team now, more on calls with the client.
Right. Yeah. But let's straight away jump into did you do any sports as a kid? Early life?
I was not a sports person as such. I used to play chess a lot, which is again a board game. Apart from that, in school we had, I studied abroad, so we did ice hockey. Right? It's another version called bandy. Used to play that, and that's about it.
Where abroad?
That was Norway and Egypt.
Okay.
And then when I came back, when I started working, there was no time. Apart from that, sorry. So when I came back after 10th, I picked up a cycle. You had these 2 cycles which had come in. I don't know, Hero Hawk and Atlas.
Yeah.
Right. So when I came back from abroad, I saw this ad of Hero Hawk. So I said, I want this bike. So I got that bike because I got it. My sister said, I also want one. She got an Atlas, but she never rode.
Right.
And then I used to do that quite frequently till I got into college. And then college was like bike for kids.
Uh,
I wanted a two-wheeler, a scooter, or a motorbike, and my parents said no motorbike for you. If you want a scooter, take it. Otherwise, nothing you'll get.
right.
And that was the end of the cycle. So,
Where was this?
s-
Schooling and college.
so schooling and college happened in Jammu, in J&K.
Okay.
And then after that, when I started working, it was all work till I joined Airtel, and we had a club membership. And then there's another colleague of mine who was a technical guy. So he and I started playing squash. We did that for around 6 months, and that's about it. And then nothing else. And then it was PS4 at home and online.
When did the work life start?
Work life started, and this is quite strange. I was in Chennai, and I'll tell you my routine. I'll get up in the morning, take the lift, go down, take the car, go to office, take the elevator in the office, sit in my room the whole day,
Yeah.
right? Unless there's a client meeting. Come back, go back, play PS4, and then every night we used to watch a movie, right? So around 11 o'clock we'll put a movie, sodas, popcorns, and all the junk food, and watch the movie till 2 in the morning. And then sleep. That was my routine. So like I was like 78, 80 kgs, I became 100,
Wow.
right? And then and I don't watch television, and I don't watch sports channel. The only thing I watch on sports used to be tennis. And one day I came back from office. I don't know what happened. I went and switched on the television, and I switched on a 10 sports. I still remember this. This was around 5 years back, and TDF was coming.
Tour de France.
Yeah. And then I started watching TDF on it, and I said, yeah, this looks pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know, they were going up the clients effortlessly. I said, if they can do it, I can do it. You know? Then I switched it off. I went to my wife. I said, I'm going to start cycling. She said, you've gone mad. That's the first thing. I said, no, I'm going to buy a cycle. Now from Hero Hawk time, things had drastically changed.
Right.
On the drop, you had those levers to change, right?
Right.
So then I went to Decathlon. And
this was in which year?
This was around 5 years back. Right.
So it'll be like 2017, 16,
2017.
17.
2017 or 16 end. Right.
Okay.
And then I went to Decathlon, and I still remember. I can visualize this. I entered the store, and after when you enter, there was in the middle they had put a mountain bike.
Yeah.
And they had put, with this you'll get bottle cage. It had suspension,
Yeah.
and it had a couple of other things. And I came home and I called up my sister. Can you believe it? 19,000 rupees a bike with suspension, right? With so many gears and all this. I said I'm going to buy that one. And that was a mountain bike. So then I went back again. Then I roamed around, looked around. Then I saw a Triton, which was 36,000 bucks. Now I could not fathom as to why anybody will pay 36,000 for a cycle.
Right.
And then I said, okay. Then there was another store which had opened up on the Chennai Bangalore highway. So that was the largest. So I said, okay, let's go there. So next weekend we went there. There was another model which was, I think, 52 or 56.
This is also Decathlon.
52, 56. Firstly, the 36 I couldn't understand, and
Right.
56 went beyond me only.
Yeah.
Then I asked him, what is it? And those guys themselves didn't know too much. They said something Sora and something. I said, fine, whatever it is, leave it. It had a scratch on it. There was just a tiny scratch.
Right.
So I looked at it. I said, it's got a tiny scratch. We'll give you a discount. I said, how much? 4,000. I said, I don't mind paying you the entire amount, but I want a bike without any scratches. They said, okay, we have a piece in Bangalore. We'll ship it to you. Somebody will give you a call. So we were on the way back. I got a call saying that we'll ship it to you, but you'll have to pay shipping charges. I said, why will I pay shipping charges? I said, you leave it. And then my wife used to work on TI account. She's in advertising. She said, I know some people, let me give them a call. And in the meantime, I looked online. There was Pro Bikers, went to Pro Bikers. And this is what happened. So I went to Pro Bikers. He said, what's your budget? So I said, 20,000, 30,000. So he showed me like 3 bikes. 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. So I said, let me try it out.
Suresh.
No, so there was Guna.
Guna. Okay.
Right. So I said, okay, let me try it out. He said, well, you take it out. So I took it out. He says, you know how to shift. Now I didn't want to tell him. I don't know. So I said, I know everything. You leave it to me. So I went on a bi-lane. I didn't know what to do. I just pressed all the buttons. Went for a ride, came back. I said, no, I don't enjoy this. And then when Suresh landed up, Suresh came and he showed me, which one was it? He showed me one bike which was $150,000. So and then he said, I'll give you a good discount. I said, my budget is 20. He was saying 150,000. Then I have to buy all the accessories, all the, the clothes and computer and everything. I said, I don't have this budget. So he tried. I said, no, I'm not going to buy this. Then opposite was Track and Trail, diagonally opposite
Right.
Pro Biker. So I went there. So he said, what bike are you looking? I said, show me an entry level bike. He said 60,000. I said, I asked him 3 times. I said, I want an entry. He said, yeah, entry is 60,000. No, I asked him what is it in it. Then he told me, I think, what group set. I had no clue about group sets.
Yeah.
So I said, you leave it because I couldn't understand it. So I went back, went on Google. I spent 2 months doing research on cycling. Then I saw videos how to shift gears.
Yeah.
Right, I did A to Z. Then I learned about the group sets. And then I learned that there was every bike has a different sizing.
Right.
Right. So it's not that one brand you can buy X size and same size will be, applicable for all the bikes.
Correct.
So then when I went back, I had more knowledge than the guys who were selling bikes. Right. I'll ask them 15 questions, they won't answer anything back.
Yeah.
And then I bought, finally, I ended up buying a Cannondale Super 6 Evo.
Right.
Okay.
Right. From 20,000, you
Yeah,
went
so I said, okay, now let me jump straight in. So,
over 2 lakhs or something.
So it was a lakh and something,
Yeah.
but they gave me a good discount.
Yeah.
And this was at Kada Khan Nawaz Road. And I used to stay on OMR.
Yeah.
So this was evening time. He said, your bike, you want it to deliver? So no, I said, you open it, assemble it in front of me, I'll ride it back. And I took the bike out, and there was like peak traffic.
So
And
this was your first bike
first bike, and you hear
after
the,
2 months of research. Yeah.
and I could hear a sensation, tingling sensation, which you can't hear. Only you could hear. I could hear the handlebar, something vibrating within the handlebar. I called up those guys. They said, we have that Chiclo Cafe on Kottapuram Road. He said, you go there, they will see it. So I went there. He talked it. He said, now it should be fine. I went home. When I reached home, I called him. I said, no, this vibration I'm hearing. He sent a mechanic over. He did few more tightening. He said, you ride. Next day I called up. I said, no, the vibration is there. But they were very nice. So then I get a call saying that I have escalated the issue to TI, and they will replace your bike. So they gave me a new bike.
Okay.
Right, another Super 6 Evo came. They said this time the guy says, okay, you were there, you must have made the guys nervous. This time you'll assemble the bike and then you take delivery. I said, it doesn't matter, you assemble it. So I took that delivery of that bike. It had, again, I could feel the same vibration coming in.
Okay.
So this time the South Head sales guy came and they had their head mechanic from TI. He came to the house. He put it on a stand, spent half an hour doing configuration. He said, okay, we'll take it to the basement, you ride it. So when I started riding, so the chain was hitting the FD. They said, you got too much of weight. So I said, no, don't tell me I bought a toy for 1.5 lakh, that it can't take my weight. So they said, okay, we'll take you to the factory and we'll see what needs to be done. I said,
At this point, you were 100 kilos.
I was 98.
Okay.
Right. And then they took it. I said, I don't care what you want to do. You want to take it to the factory, but I don't want this bike. They said, let us see what can be done. Then I get a call from them. They said, we'll upgrade you to a Synapse, which is more expensive, but we won't charge you for it. So then I got a Synapse. Right. And when I got the Synapse, I went for a ride. It was perfect. They said, you test it out. If you're happy, take it. I did a test ride. It was fine. Then I went back home. The next day when I did a ride, any bump, I'll go over. When you crush a bottle and it expands, you get that cut sound. That sound I'll get from the bike. Okay. So I called these guys up. I said, look, I'm getting this sound. They said, you are the only guy we are getting a complaint from Cannondale. Otherwise, no, I said, that doesn't mean that I can't complain.
Yeah.
Right? If you got no complaints. Then they said, okay, let us see. Then again, this guy came. Ryan was the guy. He came home. He went on the basement. The first time he went in, he heard a talk. He said, I only heard it once. But I said, you heard it? He said, yes.
Yeah.
Right. So this time, then there's their international division marketing head guy called Ankur. He said, okay, I like to come and hear the sound. I said, come over. So he came. He said he took the bike. After 20 minutes, he came back. He said, I heard it once, but it doesn't qualify for a change. I said, you come with me now. So both of us went to another track and trail. They said, you take another bike. Right? You come with me and you can... I made him... We went for around, I think, half an hour ride. I made him hear that sound 20 times. Okay. Then I said, now you're convinced? He said, yeah, let me see what needs to be done. Now, something happened. I did not get a response. Since my wife knew the people, their president, so I sent out a mail to them saying that I'm awaiting a response, that has not come. They said, we'll get it rectified. Then I get a call saying that we will have this also changed for you. Okay. Then I get another Synapse. Right. And I got the Synapse, and then I think it was a overall head came. He said, we like to come. So what happened was they Give me a call. The shop guy gave me a call saying that we can't deliver it to your house. You have to come and pick up from the shop. I said, look, that is not right on your part. You need to deliver it here. That went on for a couple of days. That didn't happen. Then I called up the CEO, and he happened to be in Chandigarh. So I told him the entire thing. He said, "You leave the logistics to us. We are more concerned about you being happy.
Right.
You just right." So then within that, I get a call from their marketing, the overall head. They said, "We are really sorry. We'd like to come and see you today." So that he and the track and trail guy came to the office, and they said, "We are really really sorry. Here's a check for the bike. Keep the bike. Test it out for 2 months. You're not happy. Return the bike and keep the check." Okay. So then I said, the purpose of buying the bike was not to return it and get the money back. You keep the check. I don't want it. Let me try it out. And then he said, if there's any issues, you call me directly. Don't call anybody. You just bypass and give me a call. Then I took the bike, went out. I still remember this was raining. I did a 200 kilometer or 100 kilometer ride in the rain. Came back. When I was returning, tuck, the bottom bracket had gone, the bearing had gone. So then I called him directly. So he said, I think the bottom bracket bearing has gone. It's too soon, but let me see. The car came, took it to the factory. They said the bearing had gone. We've changed the bearing, and now it should be okay. So that happened, and finally, after all that, then before I moved to Bangalore, I had an accident, and the frame only cracked. So in hindsight, I think they must be really happy that this customer is
you end up an era.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is quite a saga with the TI for you, huh?
Yeah.
So the first bike, you end up like spending more time, chatting with them rather than trying to solve the problems rather than riding, I think.
No, they were also saying, they said, we are really, sorry that instead of you riding the bike, there are more complaints coming and then you riding and enjoying that.
Right.
So from that perspective, they were really good. I don't think I would have got that kind of support.
No, TI, I mean, we know a lot of guys there. They've been quite responsive in general. So, with all this,
I'll tell you. So there's another incident. So when this issue came with the Super 6, the guy, they sent another mechanic from Chiclo. He says, this is a carbon frame. This has to be torqued. I said, why are you telling me? You should be then educating the guys who are assembling it at your track and tails. Don't tell me. I said, you tell them to get a torque wrench and torque it.
Nice. So with all this, right? You were in Chennai. So what sort of riding were you doing? How much were you riding? While dealing with all this.
So like the first ride I went to Mahabalipuram. So I did a 70-75 kilometer. By the time I came back, I slept the whole day, and I got up. My shoulders were aching, my hands were aching. On the return, my ass was hurting. I couldn't sit on the bike.
Direct 70.
I did direct 70, and after that. I used to do solo rides. I joined this. I don't know anything about cycling. I knew no friends who were in cycling. So then I opened up Google and put on thing. Then I got on there was Strava. Then I downloaded Strava. Then went to the clubs, saw the Chennai clubs. Then I looked which had the maximum number of people WCCG had.
Right.
Then I sent them a message. They put me in their WhatsApp group. So first couple of rides I did with the WCCG boys. But that was more of a picnic ride. They'll take photos, stop, go to the beach, eat. And I didn't like so many stops and I wanted to continue. So then I started cycling on my own.
Okay.
Then I was doing solo rides to a large extent and on Mahabs. And I still remember I was, one day I took a U-turn at Mahabs and I was coming back. I just taken a U-turn and 5-6 guys come and go past me. And before I can catch up or do anything, they have just vanished. And I was thinking to myself, when can I ride like this,
Right. And who were these? Madraskas?
I know, must be Madraskas. I don't know anybody at that point. But they just came and they just zipped through.
Right.
And they just vanished off the horizon, They went that fast.
Yeah. And when was this move to Bangalore for you?
So Bangalore happened, 3 years back. So I changed jobs. And because of the job change, I moved here.
Right. 2019.
Yeah. March 2019. But family was in Chennai. So on the weekend, I used to go back.
Okay.
So I didn't have my cycle here. So on Saturday, Sunday, I used to cycle with the Chennai boys.
Right.
Monday, I used to come back.
Yeah. So until then, what kind of distances were you doing maximum and what kind of speeds were you doing?
So I did I think I did 1 200 or 2 200s I've done. That was also solo because there was nobody around to do it.
Yeah.
And so I did a WCCG they had organized the 200 ride, but they do it very well. So like first 15, 20 kilometers, they had a pit stop. They give you juice, they give you dry fruit, all the stuff they had to eat.
Yeah.
And
Well
then
supported roads.
well supported, and they'll have a mechanic also, and then they'll give the mechanic number in case you require it. And then they had a second pit stop at a school. So the school guy used to be a cyclist, so he said, I'll. So he put out a buffet lunch for us, very nicely done. And he had people standing at crossings to guide you to the school.
Right.
Coconut juice, sugarcane juice. I mean, it was like the works. Then I had that lunch, and the third pit stop, nobody was there because I came too fast. And then I went to Suresh's shop, there was nobody there. Then I said, I said, I have to go home, I need my thing, and you give it, and I'm going. So then I called up the guy, I think Suresh or somebody else was there. So he said, you're back. I said, I'm back. I said, you come here. He said, I'm having lunch. I said, no, you come here, give me the medal, and I'm going.
So you were too soon for the volunteers to be there.
Yeah. So then I did that and went back.
Okay. So, and after, I mean, I think somewhere in 2019,
right.
Our good friend Raj,
right.
Nanduri.
That's when I was moving. He said, I know Bikey Venki. He said, I'll give him he was at my house.
Right.
So then he straight away called you.
Yeah. So he called me and saying, okay, one good friend, he is moving to Bangalore, guide him with the cycling and, you guys can ride together and all that. I said, yeah, sure. So, and I think couple of weeks later, I see you, but I didn't recognize that. I didn't know that you were the same guy that Raj was telling about.
I think we met at the same place today where we had our food.
Right. Correct. Swati.
Yeah, Swati, right?
Yeah.
Big group.
Correct. Then when we were talking, I think then I kind of put one and one together. Right. I said, okay, it's the same guy. It's like, and you were quite fast by then itself, right? But what was the predominant changes that happened from when you were in Chennai to when you moved to Bangalore?
Like when I told you, when I did the first Mahabalipuram, first ride, I came and slept the whole day. I still remember this ride. I came here, I didn't know anybody. Rajiv I knew. So Rajiv put me on to Lee. So Lee said, let's go for a ride. It was a weekend. He said, so me, Lee and Vikram went for a ride, Hasagata. So I said, at least we should do 100. So we did a 100 ride, came back. And I came home, slept, and I slept the whole day. Because in Chennai, it's all, you do 100, 200 kilometers, you'll do 200 or 50 meters of elevation because it's absolutely flat.
Right.
Yeah, it was like ups and downs, and my leg was not used to it.
Yeah.
So that was a difference for me. And if you ask me, that's good because in Chennai, you don't get that at all. And here, at least, you have ups and downs and good elevation.
Right.
And that actually, initially, that was an issue for me. Like, Lee would just go the flyover and I'll be... and he'll just vanish out.
Yeah.
I couldn't sustain that.
Yeah. The mountain goat, no?
Yeah. So I could keep up the plains, but not the climbs. Any climb, I will just go down. But now over a period, that has also,
that
has improved.
Yeah, now though any climb, everyone around you are fearing, oh my God, he's not able to keep up with you because you attack everything. Right.
No, so I attack any hill which comes, I'll attack. So so everybody knows by default that anything else, I will attack it no matter what happens.
Right. So you took your problem head on and overcame it, I guess, right?
See, what happened was one was that when I came, then we had a good, nice 1 or 2 years of riding, and then injury came in. And then injury, one after the other injury happened. I was thinking I was improving, and then the injuries came. But on hindsight, like for 4 years when I cycled, no foam rolling and no stretching. I did nothing.
Right.
I used to just ride, come back.
So what let's talk about this injury.
Right.
What was this injury and when was this?
So this happened around almost before Lille. So this was around, I think, 2 years back. 2 years, 2 years back. I got a new shoe and I put the cleats and I got the cleats wrong. And we went on Airport Road. On the way back, Lee said, let's do a slightly fast ride. I said, okay. We did a fast ride, came home. I felt perfect. But I could feel it on the ride. My legs were pulling because the cleats were not aligned
Properly.
So I could feel the pull, but I said it's a small pull, it doesn't matter. So we did a fast ride back home, spent the whole day, it was perfect. Next morning when I got, there was soreness in the knees, right? And I thought the soreness must be okay. Did 3-4 rides, and I told Lee that the soreness is there for the last 3-4 days. He said the soreness should have gone. If it's there for 3-4 days, there's some issue. Then I rested for a week. After a week, we did another 100 plus ride. I felt okay. Then on the last flyover, so we did a reverse loop. We went on OMR, came back on airport. The last flyover which comes, the last climb up.
Correct.
Right. So I put it on the small cog, the smallest cog, and the biggest cog in the front, and then I put and rammed it up, and then again the soreness came back.
Okay.
Again I rested for a week, and I thought everything is fine. We went on to the Hasagata side. And I never do this. And in fact, I never did it. Now though I do it, but I never did it at that point. There was a small down and a up, kicker up. I got off the saddle again on the 11th and the biggest one, and I got off the saddle and went up. And I've never done. I don't know why I did it, because I never do it. But that soreness I could feel during the whole ride.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And after that, it persisted and remained. And then I saw an ortho.
Where was this? On the knees.
Knees. So both the knees.
Both the knees.
Both the knees. Because both the knees, the cleats were.
Right.
So this time I went to the ortho. He gave me some medicines to have. That one went for a month, month and a half. Then I went home. Something was down, so I squatted down, and I got back, and I could
feel the knees,
feel the soreness back again. Then the ortho said, this time he said, you come and see me. I saw him. He said, you should go and see a physio. And then Lee said that peak performance. Then I went to the peak performance guys. So they asked me any foam rolling, stretching. So I said, no, I've not done anything. Because he was also surprised.
Right.
He said, I'm surprised that your injury has come so late. It should have come much sooner.
Right.
And then because I still remember when I came to Bangalore, Lee said, you buy a foam roller. So the next day I went and bought a foam roller from Decathlon, but I kept it in the cupboard. Never used it.
Yeah.
Right. So this time when I went to the
He told to you buy it, not use it.
No, he told me, he said, you should start doing foam rolling. And so he told me Decathlon has a foam roller 2 types, buy the softer one. So I bought it and kept it, never used. So then the physio thing started, and then so I make it a point. After every ride, I do foam rolling. Stretching, I do like thrice a week. But that itself has helped a lot.
Okay. So what sort of foam rolling? Where all the sides?
So I could initially manage everything except the sides. I mean, I would just turn, and I couldn't do it
because it's so tight.
No, it's whatever. I mean, the muscle would not take it.
Yeah.
The roller.
Right.
And then the physio said, you take a softer one and do it. That hurt my ego. So I said, no. So I said, I'll go with this one only. So initially I could do 1 or 2 only. So I used to do 1-2 on the reps on both sides. Now though I don't feel anything. Now because the leg has got used to it.
Right. And so that helped.
That really helped. If anything, I think that was something which was missing.
Okay.
And so when I went to the ortho explained me the problem. I wrote it down. He said, this is what the physio needs to treat you on. Show him this is what he needs to work on. So when I went to the peak performance guys, I had the report. I think that Piyush Pandey, Dr. Piyush Pandey was there. He didn't even look. He said, you keep the report on the side. You get on the table. So he got on the table, did the examination, put force on the knee, and I couldn't take the force. And he just slightly pushed it in, and it was paining. And then he explained to me the problem through on the screen with the video. He says, this is it. He explained it better than the ortho. And he came to the same conclusion that the ortho had. And he said, for this, then I will put you onto the physio and they will work on this.
What exactly was the problem they said?
So he explained, so he said, because you've not done stretching, the muscle has contracted over a period of time. And the entire muscle is contracted. It is pulling on this.
Okay.
Right, so there's a huge pull here. So when he explained that to me, then I could put 2 and 2 together. So when I used to lie down, because of the stretching here, my toes would be like this.
Okay.
And my wife would say, why have you put your toes in tension? Relax yourself. And I couldn't relax because I didn't know how to relax.
So everything else, the IT bands and everything were super tight.
Super tight, and they were pulling on my entire down from the knee to my toe. Now my toes are relaxed.
Okay. So it kind of shows the importance of rolling and stretching, I guess, right?
If you really ask me, this is something I think they should teach you in school because there's a physical education class which is there. when people would tell me in Chennai, I don't know whether they might have said, because I would have heard from here and taken out from the other,
Yeah.
because I said, who's going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Unless somebody told me what are the side effects of this if you don't do.
Right.
If somebody
Right.
would have told me that at the beginning, I would have definitely done.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this is just an add-on or something, somebody would say, focus on the core. I said, who's going to focus on the core?
Right.
Right? I was focused on building speed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I mean, I am guilty of this,
Yeah.
not foam rolling and stretching
Right.
as well. You just come home,
right.
put the bike
Yeah.
there, and just get on with
Ah,
life,
right.
right? So I think this makes a good point about the importance of that. Especially when small niggles and stuff, before they become bigger, you
Right.
have to take care
No,
of those.
what usually happens is when you're younger, you take things for granted because you can take it. Your body takes it.
Right.
As you start aging,
Hmm.
right,
Hmm.
all these just multiply for you.
Right.
Uh,
That is true. That is true. Right. So, what motivates you to get out and ride almost every day?
one is the feeling itself. I feel good when I cycle out, come back.
Hmm.
It's a fresh air.
Right.
Right. I feel more energized the day I cycle,
Hmm.
and I feel less energized the days I don't cycle.
Right.
So one is gives me energy. I mean, before cycling, I was a late riser, and I've never seen a sunrise. Even now, I don't see a sunrise because I look down only. Right? But before that, I would never get up only. I'll get up at
Yeah.
9:30, 10. Right? Now, if I'm getting up at 5 or 4,
Hmm.
you have a huge whole day.
Hmm.
Right? The only drawback initially is when I started off, and the amount of cycling I was doing, it would, you would get tired,
Hmm.
and then you have to get ready, go to work also.
Hmm.
And then during work, you'll feel the fatigue coming in.
Right.
But over the last 1 or 2 years, that fatigue factor has also become zero.
Right.
So I don't feel fatigued at all. When I come back, I'm normal.
Okay.
So there's no need for me to rest or I need a break. It doesn't happen. So I'm now perfectly fine as long as I get 8 hours of sleep. I'm perfect.
Okay. So what do you think changed from then to now, in terms of not feeling fatigued?
So now, see, earlier I would do a ride. So earlier, I would be behind someone for a period of the ride, and then I'll come in the front for a very small period, and do the entire routine. But now, the last 1 year, the intensity went up drastically. Right, I've done continuous rides at 35, 36, 37, 100, 100, 100. I did 3500s in a row. Right, that itself I think just built up the thing for me.
Wow. So right now, so whatever rides you are doing are not hard enough to
So-
fatigue you.
So what I do is I when I ride on a reserve.
Hmm.
I don't give my 100% on any ride.
Okay.
So when I'm riding, I'm keeping a reserve always.
Right.
So
So-
if you see somebody, I give this example. Somebody will come, and when he overtakes you, he'll give his 110%, and then he bonks. Then he's got no energy left. I don't
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
So when I overtake you, I've got reserve energy. So when you try to do that, I either stick with you or go faster.
This is scary, man. When you say you have reserve and you are killing people who are trying to be on your wheel.
No,
yeah.
so I mean, and it's another thing is strange is the longer I go for a ride, right, the less fatigued I get, and the more my legs open up.
Okay.
So I can keep the same power. Even on flyovers at 300, 400, 500 watts, I can put that on a 200 ride on the way back also, and I don't get fatigued.
Okay.
So the longer I ride, the better for me. In fact, it
Okay.
gets.
So I'm kind of trying to understand, what helped you build this engine.
Right.
Right now, what I see is you have a huge engine.
Right.
Right, that doesn't get tired easily
Right.
at all. So I am trying to understand what helped you build that engine. So what was the mileage like over the last 5 years that you have been cycling?
So the first year I cycled, I did 13,000 kilometers.
Wow. So in between all the complaints about bikes and stuff, you rode 1300.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So and the second year?
Second year, then it went down. I think I did 10 or 11 or something. But
Over 10.
Over 10, except when I had this injury. I think I did 7 or 8.
Okay, that was in 2000,
Yeah, that's 2 years back.
2020. Yeah.
That was my lowest time. Otherwise, after that,
So with the injury, you did what? How much?
I think 7 or 8.
Okay. Okay. And once the injury is sorted, once the foam rolling and everything got into the picture, last year, 2021,
Yes,
how much was your mileage?
18,000.
18,000. And it was during the end of that.
Yeah, last 2 months where I actually picked it up.
And that was like, you mentioned that you did 35 successive days, 35 hundreds, and almost every 100 is over 35 or something like in terms of average. How, man? So, what were the metrics that you look at? Just the distance and the speed?
I just look at the speed, and that's it. I see the speed and I see the average speed. So if I see the average speed coming down, I just push. So when somebody says you should look at power, when you are doing at speed also, it doesn't happen without power.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
So so if I'm maintaining the same average, unless I'm going one way and I've got a tailwind happening, right, and sometimes I have a headwind happening, then the speed has no relevance because then it's wonky.
But we are always we are coming
up,
back.
Yeah, so if I'm maintaining that up and down and I'm trying to maintain the same speed, then by default the power should automatically, unless there's a huge wind variation which comes in, which doesn't normally happen.
Right.
So to that extent, if you see, my power range will also be similar only. But without me actually focusing on power, it just automatically just comes.
Correct. You're just trying to maintain a certain speed and average speed kind of thing.
So the moment I see the average dipping, then that's it,
Right. So what is this fascination with average speed and speed?
It's nothing. It's just how I'm built. If you see me drink, I'll drink fast. If you see me eat, I'll be the first guy to finish food on the table.
Right.
I just gulp up. If I drive a car, also it has to be fast only. So
okay.
So it's a personal thing. Nothing to do with anybody else that I'm competing with somebody.
Right. Yeah. Just this morning we were on a ride and. This guy Ashok was doing his intervals and he didn't tell, and he was trying to maintain his power. I think he comes by your side and we are like, oh man, we are obviously on your wheel and like it's going up. Oh, brace yourself and because you wouldn't let him go past you.
I'll tell you the reason. It's not that I have got an ego that he can't cross me. It's not that. I don't like people coming in front and then spending 10-20 seconds in front and then going back and then do nothing the whole ride. I just want to show that I came in the front. That I don't appreciate and like. Right? If you want to work, then you work in the front.
Right.
But then don't just come in and disappear after that. For a 100-kilometer ride, you only come twice out.
Right. But
otherwise, don't come.
Stay. Yeah. No, but I think it is difficult to kind of spend the amount of time that you spend at front for anyone else, at least in the guys that are there right now. Right. So it is understandable that they would be only able to keep that speed for a couple of minutes at most. But another thing that I wanted to talk about is what is your fueling like in all these?
So when I was in Chennai, I didn't know that any of that existed. So I should go on water.
Right.
Okay. So that 200 kilometers I did was just on water. And normally I just go on one bottle of water. So like the first one that I did, which was last year, Feb, March, I had 2 bottles. I only consumed that. Nothing else. And 1 yoga bar. That's all what I did. So then somebody told me there's a fasten up capsules. Then I started using that in Chennai. The moment I would put that in and ride, I would get a cramp.
Okay.
Then I stopped that. I said, this is no point. I'll go back to water. So I stuck to water. So I'm here now. I use fasten up for the ride.
Hydration, yeah.
Right, but that's the only thing. And then in the morning I have cornflakes. And that's all.
Before
Maybe
the ride.
If it's going to be a longer ride, then I might have 1 banana.
Okay.
That's it.
On the ride?
No, before the ride.
Before the ride.
That's about it.
What do you, not much on the ride?
So I've done like hundreds without eating anything.
Mm-hmm.
And non-stop 100 I've done on zero.
Okay. Okay.
And this much of water.
Hmm. All right. That is a bit strange because for me,
Huh.
without my energy drink, I can't I can't go out.
Huh.
I think I need my carbs. I put a couple of scoops of my
Huh.
energy mix per bottle,
Huh.
and if I am doing a longer one, I'll carry a spare
Was it?
spare powder,
Huh.
so that I can, when I refill, I'll
Huh.
put that in and carry. So it about 60 grams per bottle
Right.
in terms of carbs,
Huh.
and depending on how long it
Right.
is, at least 50 grams per hour kind
Right,
of
right.
equation works out. So without that, I can't survive.
No, so I was not eating in the
Hmm.
100 the rides I was doing last year with the guys.
Hmm.
I was not eating anything. But then
Okay.
my weight reduction started happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had COVID last year, and after COVID, I had a loss of appetite
Mm-hmm.
for a month. I could not eat. I would just take a bite,
Hmm.
and my tummy would be full.
Oh, okay.
And I lost 10 kgs during that period,
Okay.
during my loss appetite period.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing these rides without eating.
Hmm.
Then I was further losing a kg. Then I said, like this, so I'll disappear.
Yeah.
So that's why now when we stop, I eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't feel the need to eat.
Okay.
Unless I'm doing a slow ride. The slow ride days, I feel extremely hungry.
Hmm.
And I get
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
On a slow ride, I feel hungry and I feel tired. On a fast ride, it's just reverse.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So, do you think you are kind of, getting into ketosis, or how is the body fueling itself in that
So,
sense?
like, see, it's traditional with me. I've never had the thirst. I
Hmm.
mean, even when I go home, I don't drink.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
the whole day, I'll be just having this much of water. That's all what I consume.
Okay. Okay.
So otherwise, the body doesn't demand it,
Hmm.
and I don't give it also.
Okay. Okay.
If it's beer, then then I tank it up. Then I can have 5-6 mugs of
That's
beer.
your hydration, I
Yeah,
guess. Right. Let's talk about your weight. When you started, you
Right.
said you were 98,
Yeah.
nearly 100
Yeah.
kilos. What is your weight now?
So when I met you for the first time, it was 88.
Hmm.
Now it's 78.
Wow. So you lost over the last 5 years, since the time you started cycling, 20 kilos you lost.
So I lost 10 kgs straight. I mean, I was almost losing a kg every month because of cycling
Hmm.
till it touched 78.
When
And then
you were in Chennai.
Chennai,
Yeah.
and then at
And it
78,
plateaued.
it plateaued at 78.
Right.
Here on-
88.
Sorry, 88. And here also that plateaued at 88 only.
Yeah.
Because of COVID and the loss of appetite, 10 kgs just vanished.
But you are keeping it there right now.
Yeah, because it helps me on the climbs.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. So let us talk about that, right? Where you're now on almost all the rides,
Right.
or on most rides, or the rides you categorize as hard, you attack on almost every hill.
Yeah.
And
That's a given.
that's a given. So what do you think? How do you think it helped you in
So
terms
if you actually see, so when I started cycling, I opened, I went, I was how to go fast. That's the first thing I put in Google.
Yeah.
And they gave me that HIIT
uh,
is the way to increase your speed, right?
Correct.
Otherwise, you'll remain same.
yeah.
So that is obviously with intensity of intervals coming in. Now, if you want to see, this is not a structured training,
Hmm.
but if I go on airport road, the intervals which are happening because of the flyovers,
Yeah.
right? I'm doing that only,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
But it's happening by default without me actually putting it into a structure.
Yeah, I mean, you might not be saying, "Oh, I'll go 40 seconds on."
Because I really don't care about
yes,
that.
right.
So
what you are using is the natural terrain of the route,
yeah,
and you doing those high
yeah.
intensity
So I can
stuff.
put like 500 watts also, right?
Right.
And I don't feel it
Correct.
because I'm not looking at I don't look at the the dashboard.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you really ask me, if you look at the dashboard, people get, oh, I'm putting 400. Bring it
Yeah,
down.
yeah. Bring it down.
So without me knowing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
I go by the feel. If
Right.
my legs feel up to it, if I can put more, I'll put more and go.
Right. Yeah, that is an important point as well. If when people obsess over numbers, they kind of help you in when you are pacing yourself for time trial or
Right.
something like that. But they also kind of hold you back in a bit.
Right.
But when you are going by the feel, when you are feeling fine,
Right.
but you see that number and say, become scared and say, tone it down. So that way they kind of
No, so we were
hold
having a
you
discussion
back.
on heart rate. I used to wear initially.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a funny incident on that. I got my Garmin and they had a strap.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you can unhook a Garmin strap.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first time I put it on like this. I was thinking, I said, spend so much of money on Garmin. These idiots don't even know how to put us, they can't even get this right. So for a year I was doing this. Okay. Then it would.
You are saying this in the for the people who are just listening. It is you are putting the strap from the top
like this and here, and then it'll curl up. Then you'll have to straighten it up, right?
Without unhooking it.
Right. So I didn't know. I saw the thing, but I never knew you could unhook it. And then after I think almost two or 2.5 years of riding, one of the rides I still remember, we were returning back. And one guy talked about this. It's a pain putting up, putting on a heart strap. I said, yeah, I agree. Then the third guy said, what are you talking about? It's got a hook. You unhook it. I said, really? That's when I learned, and that's when I actually stopped using it also. So after that, I never used it.
It's easy to put on now. That's why you stopped.
No. I mean, the point. We're having this discussion.
Correct.
When you look at heart rate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And so, my point is, I go by the feel. If my heart if the heart is overburdened, the heart will automatically not tell you, but he'll shut your body down.
Right.
I don't need to see the monitor to tell me that my heart is going to collapse.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense. So, no, one peculiar thing that I noticed with you is that despite all this riding, right, thousands and thousands of kilometers, 18,000 kilometers last year and all that, your bike is absolutely squeaking clean all the time.
Because I clean it every day. Even if it's clean, I still clean it.
Every day.
Every day. So in the evening before going to bed, I clean the bike up, I clean the chain, I clean the entire drivetrain. The entire thing is cleaned. I spend half an hour, 40 minutes cleaning it, and then
man,
I was like, I can't ride. Even so in the morning if I see something, it just puts me off.
So just because you are coming today, I actually cleaned my bike because I know you don't like dirty bikes at all. So I actually cleaned just before you were coming.
So this was interesting. If you read on Google, so when I was reading, so he said what makes the pros look so pro is because they ride everything. All the equipment is spanking clean.
Yeah, because they have
people to do it for them.
Exactly. Right. So, and on that note, right, I remember the ride that we were doing, I think from Hesarghatta to coming back from Yelahanka. So we were going through an underpass.
Right.
And
you guys
and there was some water.
There was lots of water.
Dude, I was there. So there was some water. Say it was like a couple of inches deep, and it was going 4-5 feet.
Right.
Okay, and every underpass has that almost. Okay, and you were at the front, and Miran was at the front, I think, and you guys slammed the brakes and stopped. I was like, okay, and stopped. I took that opportunity to take a leak and use that as a brake, and then was standing there, and you guys were looking at what's happening. I didn't understand what was happening.
Right.
Then I understood that you guys stopped because there was water.
Yeah.
You don't want to go. I was like, what? This is how we ride in India. So I went like that, and you guys found an alternate route and dry and longer route and came and joined us later.
We joined you later, and we also stopped before the toll to make a call to check where you guys were.
Right.
I think Sangram called. We stopped, I think, for 15-20 seconds. Despite that, we got a comp.
Yeah.
That was a 36 or 40 kilometer comp.
Yeah. because you guys were trying to catch
Uh,
us, and both you and Miran were like
So I still
super
remember. So when
engines.
we went back, there was one dirty flyover
Yeah.
with lots of
Rubble,
potholes
yeah,
and
yeah,
rubble on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so on the way up, to I managed to go around it. On the
Yeah.
down, it was filled with it, and Miron went zoom. I told him, Miron, I said, this is one thing I can't do. You need to slow down when these kind of things come.
Yeah, yeah. That is funny, man. That is funny. So you don't ride through water and
I don't ride through water. If it's wet, I don't come out. If it's raining, then I don't come out. And then, funnily enough, when I was in Chennai, I had a waterproof saddlebag.
Okay.
Okay, and the guy said, "You don't come out in the rain. So why the hell have you got a waterproof saddlebag?"
Ah, so do you train indoors?
So I bought the trainer when my wife was about to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
I did, I think, a month and a half training on that,
Mm.
and then it just was lying.
Mm.
And then 2 years back when COVID happened, I
Mm.
did. Before COVID, I had remember that ride. I fractured my finger,
Right.
so that 2 months I did indoors.
Mm.
Uh, so that is twice.
Which ride was this? The where
That the airport,
fractured the randa?
the Nandi ride.
Mm-hmm. How?
So what happened was I was behind,
Mm.
and at the airport toll, all of you guys had lined up to cross.
Right.
And
That.
and I thought I'll be over smart. I said I'll bypass these guys. There's a car in front. I'll go straight. The car will go through. I'll go through, and then the barrier will come down. So I was behind the car. The car went through. The moment the car went through, in a ziffy, that thing came down. And
Right.
I said to myself, oh no! And that barrier, when it came down,
It went on your.
it hit my finger.
Right.
And then I was
Between the handlebar and the
but
finger.
I was thinking, good, it hit my finger. If it had the bike, then I would have been in a depression.
Oh man.
But that's when I realized when it hits you, it's not stiff. It gives way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If that had not happened, I would have been off the bike and the bike would have,
Correct,
been
correct.
somewhere else.
Yeah. No, but that is when you
So-
trained indoors.
Yeah, so, and Doc was in front. I called Doc. So Doc said, I don't know whether it's fracture or not. He said that sound was this sound? He said that's definitely
It's
a
a
fracture.
fracture.
Then he said, put cold water. He said, it's okay. I've done many rides like this. It should be okay. Do your Nandi ride. So I went up Nandi, came back. The moment I stepped into the house, I'm not joking. That small swelling, which was same color, had become full black, and what had become a huge lump.
Like a
this.
bubble, yeah.
It was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got scared. I went to the hospital. They said, no, you can't see a senior doctor. You can see a junior one. Went to the junior. He also got scared. He said, you go see the senior one also.
Yeah.
So then
Okay.
I did 2 months of windows for that. So that was my second 4 months.
Mm.
And then during I think last year lockdown,
Mm.
everybody was lifting. I did trainer roads of 2 months. That's it.
Okay.
So I've done 6 months of trainer road.
Okay.
But
okay.
I found that pretty useful.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Right. Indoor riding.
If you follow it right to the T, then it really helps you.
You mean the trainer road
Any
workouts?
plan which is and you can follow them to the T.
Correct.
indoors.
Yeah. So basically, the workouts with the kind of smart trainers now,
Right, yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
very easy to follow and stuff, and quite safe. Some of those workouts are quite
Yeah,
safe
so
to
the only
do
thing
indoors.
I think I just want to mention is I was only using one fan, which was the right.
Yeah.
And by the time I would finish my rides, I would be like filled with sweat. The shoes would be soaking.
Right.
Everything would be soaking.
Yeah.
And I did this for 2 months. I don't know. It happened because then I got vertigo. Right. I would just look down and my head would like spin. That took 2 months for that to get over.
Okay.
So I don't know whether it happened because of that or not.
Yeah, it could be maybe we have to look up,
Right.
but maybe the kind of severe dehydration that
Yeah.
was happening.
Because same thing, I would
yeah.
not. I would just have this much of water, and I would be like
Yeah.
boring.
Right. Interesting. So, another thing is that you don't race
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Is that a kind of conscious decision, or how is that?
See, like in Chennai, they used to do a lot of races, but some idiot would come in who had no experience, and right at the starting, there'll be some 10, 15 guys who would crash, and brand new bikes would get. I said, I'm not getting a sponsored bike here.
Yeah.
Right? It's my bike which I love.
Yeah.
Right? Why would I get into a race and because of someone else get into an injury? Right?
Yeah.
This is something which is not. I'm not a professional.
Mm,
Okay? This does not pay me. Right? I have a bread and butter job. Right?
Right.
This I do for fun.
Correct.
Right? And if somebody wants to race with me, they can come on a regular ride.
Anyway, that everyday ride is a race
Right. So
with you.
but it's like this. It's like this, saying that, Kavi, you drive fast. Why don't you join a Formula 3?
Mhm.
There's no relation to me driving fast on a highway and me joining Formula 3.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm.
So I do this for fun. I do this for myself, and I enjoy it.
No,
The risk of a race to me is at my age is not worth it, to be honest.
okay.
And
I mean,
I'll get nothing out of it also. Nothing to prove to anybody.
right,
Right.
right. Uh, that is that works perfectly well for
Right.
people like me
Huh.
who are who are participating in
Right.
these races in masters and
Huh.
getting on podium. I know one spot that if you were there would be taken up by you is left for others to take up.
No, it's
So
not
it
that.
works fine for
It's not
us.
that also. I mean, to be very honest, this is one sport in India which, I mean, even if you are number one here, on a world stage, you're
Yeah.
not anywhere.
Right, right.
I mean, I might get a good feeling, but actually, I am nothing.
Correct.
In the bigger picture.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that is where that is funny that you say that. It is, we tend to take ourselves a bit too
Yeah.
seriously, most of the time,
Yeah.
saying, okay, this, I need to do this
Right.
much, I need to put out this much power,
Right.
go take this KOM,
Right.
win this podium and all
Yeah.
that. But you have to remember that you are doing this for fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's all relative.
Absolutely.
And you might be a big fish here
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
small
yeah.
pond, but you are very tiny
Yeah.
when you compare it to others from
You
Europe or
see the
something like
numbers
that.
that those guys dish out. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if I go there, they'll not even. They'll say, who the hell is this guy with teeny weeny numbers and
Yeah. That is excellent. So, TeamBROS, right? When did you join TeamBROS?
last year.
Last year. So, how what do you enjoy about being part of that team and the whole thing?
See, unlike I've been with various teams. Those teams are there on paper. To be very honest, they're not very cohesive. This is the only team I've seen is so cohesive, on and off both. Right? They're very tightly knit together. As they're like one unit only.
Right.
One is that, and as I said, I am riding for I want to go out and ride, right? Not race.
Right.
The consistency these guys ride with, I haven't seen anybody.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So one is that we don't need anybody because this within the team the number
It's
is so
like
huge,
what, 20 people or something
right?
now?
Or 7, 8, 9 people are there on every ride,
Almost
right?
every day. Yeah.
So it becomes a good, nice, fun ride with all the boys out.
Yeah,
So from that perspective, it's really nice.
Yeah. I think that's a good point you make. They are the TeamBROS for me is a fun bunch on and off the bike.
Yeah.
That.
As I said, they're very cohesive. Very
yeah.
cohesive. Which I don't see that in any other
Right.
groups.
That is excellent. So, what's ahead for you? What are your future goals or anything like that?
Future goals are only professional, to be very honest. I want to, as far as my cycling goals are concerned, I want to ride as long as possible.
Till you're into 80s or
till
whatever.
whenever I can.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Super. So, what are some of the tips that you would give working athletes to do well at the sport and work?
For cycling or sport in general?
Yeah. Sport in general. Yeah.
I mean, if you really ask me, see, in today's scenario, if you see, if you see the lifestyle everybody goes through, not only us, the kids, everybody is going through, the kind of pressure everybody is going through, right? It's more of, even kids are, like my son, he's 4 years old. Because of COVID and whatever reasons, the schools are not open. If I see him, he'll be on TV or on the mobile.
Right.
It's all screens.
Correct.
As kids, we did not have screens because there were no screens available.
Exactly.
So as a result, you had to go out and play, right? So by force, you had to go and play with other people.
Correct.
You had a physical sport happening. That is diminishing one.
Correct.
Right? As you grow older, anyway, that is not part of your lifestyle. Right? if you look at our food habits are not of today's. The same food we are having, which are generations old. Right? The same way of cooking, same way of having that ghee and all those masalas and everything. They were made at that time because you needed all that because of the physical energy everybody was doing. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The food habit has remained the same. The physical part has got negligible. If you see,
In some ways, the food habits have gone worse.
Yeah.
Because of all the fast food
Right,
and everything
absolutely,
that is coming, there are more calories, but you are expending less.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you see the number of people visiting hospitals or the parameters not in shape, it's because of that only. Too much of stress at work,
Right. Yeah.
very little physical thing happening.
Right.
So I mean, if you really ask me, it's very important not only for few guys, it's very important for everybody, including the women folks. To get into some kind of a physical sport
Right.
is mentally de-stressing also. Another advantage of cycling, which I've not talked about, is that before cycling, when I used to move city to city because of work, I would only be knowing the people I work with.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have unless I had some old friends in the city. Otherwise, how would you make new friends?
Correct.
Right. But because of cycling, I've got to know so many more people. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got to know.
Right.
So that's another good thing if you really ask me.
Yeah. Fantastic, man. This has been a really, really fun chat with you.
Yes, absolutely.
The 5 years of journey that you have had has been fantastic, and I really like your no nonsense approach to cycling. Just put your head down and go. And it is a pain. I will from now ensure that I won't join you on my recovery days at least. I will join you only when I need a good workout.
And another thing I would say to everybody is that set yourself goals which are difficult to achieve. Like when I started off, I'll tell you how I set my goal was. I wanted to ride at 35 kilometers an hour, 100 kilometers. Because on the internet I was reading that if you're a club rider, club rides are usually at 35. I said at least I must be at a league where I can join a club and do a club ride.
Right.
So for me 35 at that point was unachievable.
Right.
But now at a stage it's not unachievable. So if you really ask me, I should have set a tougher target for myself to achieve. People don't set
big enough goals.
Big enough goals. One is that, and then people have habits of making excuses for not. That's the biggest thing. I think you should stop making excuses. Right. And start achieving rather than.
Right. Yeah. Now you talking of 35 kmph, you did a 200 kilometer ride at 35 kmph, and that to solo, right? So you set your. I think it's also once you achieve whatever goal you set, you move on to the next bigger thing. And I think we are more often than not, we are constrained by our own thinking.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. So I am sure you will keep riding and keep inspiring a lot more in cycling and otherwise. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me here, Venki. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That was my conversation with Kavi. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these podcasts and find them helpful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to the channel on YouTube. It really helps. As always, thank you for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.